talk to you. And one thing I love about my wife, she always talked to me like I was the man, because I knew I was the man, and I didn't let what I didn't have financially and physically and tangibly stop me from my role in my relationship. I stood my ground, I held my ground, and I stood my ground in a relationship. And all of a sudden, my wife, she kept helping me, encouraging me, and my father was a pivotal part, and me going back to school. I went back to school, and I got my AA, and I was just so proud to get my AA in criminal justice, and somebody was making money at a Fortune 500 company. And then I got my AA, I felt really good. I said, I better keep on going. And then I ran into somebody while I was working in the early part of my career, and he was saying, hey, man, you should go, if you want to stay viable, you got to get your master's. And I was like, bro, I just finished the AA not too long ago. And you talking about masters? And I was like, nah, that ain't gonna happen. But then I had to wise up and realize. I said, okay, things are changing in life. Things are changing in life. And this master's degree, I don't know how good it's gonna do, I don't know what it's gonna do, but I kept going. And sometimes in our relationships and our walk with life, we have to keep going. And sometimes we're looking at obstacles and they look bigger than the obstacle we faced before. And we want to stop in the road. But we have to keep going. So I kept on going. I got my bachelor's in criminal justice. Then I got my master's in emergency management. And then I stopped there for a minute. And I said, well, no, I just go back and get the one in public administration, which I'm about to complete. So my whole point is, as we live this journey, we walk this journey, when God connects us with wholesome spouses, with spouses and loved ones and people, not just spouses, but loved ones. That's why you need people to encourage you, people to talk to you, people to love you, people to support you, people to help raise you up. Because there's enough people in life that use people and leeches, and you can find them at the upper echelon, and you can find them all the way down in the dirt. I've met rich people that stingy and broke people that stingy. I mean, just stingy. They so stingy, if you put grease in their pocketbook or grease in their wallet, you still can get no money out of them. I mean, just stingy. But listen to this. Don't wait until you meet someone who catches your eye to prepare yourself now for a godly date life later on. This practice will make you sensitive to the Lord's leading, and the one day that help you discern what He might have you to marry, or have you to marry, or get married to. 1 Corinthians 6:19 says this. Do you not know that your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit within you, with whom have from God? You are not your own, for you were bought with a price. So glorify God in your body. We ought to use our bodies to glorify God. Sacrificially, not just intimately, not just vocationally, but we also use our bodies sacrificially. Who are you helping? Who are you empowering? Who are you strengthening? Because everybody in your circle is big fish, then you need to step outside of that circle. If you became a big fish, now it's time to go down to them small ponds and feed them other fish. Amen. Be willing to help somebody else. Amen. But again, you have to go through the interview process. And some things, even though we do an interview process, God allow you to move past the formality of things how you normally would do. And that's why people can notice something about you, and something you may have fallen short in the process of an interview or process of an evaluation. And you know somebody's going to be sitting there tapping on the desk or whatever they like to do, and they can be sitting there the whole time, and they say, I like you. And you look at them like, really? I never forget, I was interviewing for a job with the county when I first came part of the county, and I was trying to get on with the county. I never forget, I think it was a public works job, and I was interviewing for this job, and I laughed in the interview. And I knew right there and I said, this is over. I laughed. I'll never forget, I laughed. It was a job on President's Drive, and I laughed. And the guy was really trying to get me to get on and work. And when he started talking about working in manholes and being 20 feet in the ground and different things, and he said sometimes cockroaches and bugs and snakes, and sometimes the elements may be harmful, or it may be bugs or different things in the elements. But hey, he was like, hey, you still young and blah blah blah. And he was telling me how much I can make now, and telling me how much I can make in 6 months, and the money sounded very good. The money sounded very good, but I knew the job was for me. So I was like, okay, and then when I laughed, and he was like, no, I'm dead serious. And I straightened up real quick, and I was like, oh man. I went home, I said, honey, I bombed out one. Them people ain't gonna call me. And that lady called me and called me and called. I don't know if she was the HR person or she was the recruiter, or she should have been hired at HR. If I ever meet her again and they got some HR jobs, I'll say, hey, y'all need to take this lady here, because she's recruiter material. That lady kept calling me and calling. I said, ma'am, no, I don't want. You sure, sir? You sure? And she kept calling and calling. I said, ma'am, I talked to you last week. Oh, you did? And I knew she was really trying to get me on board. And then she called me about a week later. I said, ma'am, did I tell you? Are you sure? So she was very adamant. Even though I didn't want the job, but I love that because I was like, wow, okay. And then all of a sudden I started getting different phone calls and different phone calls. And I never forget when I first started the county, God allowed me to pick the job I wanted to work at. And that probably was unheard of for some people. I never forget when I applied for a job even at Parks and Rec. And I thought it was going to be 1 or 2 people, and they came out at the last minute and they said, Mr. Pan, we gotta tell you something. I was like, oh Lord, what happened now? They just decided with somebody here for an interview. You know, I had went on a few interviews and someone was going up and down and different things. But your relationship with God matters. I'm going to stay with me, says God. Amen. So I kept praying. I said, okay, when they came out, and you know, because sometimes you expect the worst. You know, it's just a natural human instinct. And if somebody come out and they don't look as pleasant, and they say, well, excuse me, sir, and the lady was like, well, excuse me, sir, I gotta let you know something. I was like, oh. First thing I was like, oh man, they already found somebody. And I said, okay. And she was like, there's a lot of people in here. I said, okay, no problem. So I walked in the room. I was like, wow, it is a lot of people in here. I think it was like 25 people. I never interviewed with 25 people. It was like 20-some people over at Barnett Park for Parks and Rec job. And I saw at the table, and the lady, I went through the interview. The lady, she leaned over. I think she was like the spokesperson for all the people. She was like, because she did a lot of the talking, even though they kind of pop questions from different places. And the lady said, you seem so calm. I said, yeah, she don't know I'm preaching. She don't know I'm preaching. But they didn't know that. They didn't know I wasn't pastor then. I was just a minister. But she didn't know. She was like, you seem so calm. She was like, the other person was nervous. I was like, hey, I'm used to talking to people. But my whole point is, as you build relationships in different areas of your life, we build them for the long haul. We don't build relationships just for a turn. And even though God sometimes has people just in our life for a while, but our relationship with God should not be a turn, but it should be whole life. As I'm bringing this to a close, as Christians, you must exhibit a self-control when it comes to what you will and what you won't do with significant other before marriage. This is especially important when it comes to sexual boundaries. In the overly sexed world, where teens and adults can view fornication or pornography with a simple click, or in the Greek they say porneia, which when they get the word derived pornography. So just a simple click, just a simple hit of the button. And you know, remember years ago the magazines used to be in the front of the stores, and then they had the movie stores, and they had the little room, and you know, the different things, and you walked out with a black bag and all kind of stuff. And people, you're like, wow, what is this going on? Because a lot of people haven't been taught. If you haven't been taught something, you don't know. And if you haven't been taught better, you won't know better until you've been taught better. But sometimes we base relationships on the shallow things that we've been taught, but we don't know how shallow it is until we get in Christ and we realize that we made the wrong mistakes on the road to even marriage, on the road to formulating a business opportunity. And sometimes we fall on the path of what we're trying to do. Is why? Because we're not being inundated with the proper information. And information in this day and age, I'm a stickler of information because it's so crucial. Ladies, look toward the man who shows you respect, makes you feel safe, and demonstrates his faith in God. Look to a man who demonstrates his faith in God, that makes you feel safe and shows you respect. That you don't want a man that respects you at home. I mean, of course he's going to respect you at home because he might want something. You might want something to eat. You might want some of you. You might want some of your loving, whatever you provide. You know that make him feel good to some degree. But no, make sure he respects you totally, and make sure you feel safe. If somebody knocks on the door, I'm not gonna tell my wife to go get it. And now if they done came through the door, I ain't gonna tell her to do anything. But be able to get ready, and I'm gonna go ahead and try to handle this person or whatever's going on. Well, we as men ought to make our wives feel safe. No. We ain't just dial 911. We dial 911 after the fact the person is on the ground. You need to send a truck. No, you need to send an ambulance because the person they laying here, they hurt. Because at the end of the day, we are priests and kings over our house. Don't let nobody else get that misconstrued. A man is a priest and king over his house. A man is supposed to protect his household. And we should disseminate information. That's why I tell my kids about safety. And I tell my kids about different things. And we're renting right now in an apartment, and I tell them, I said, somebody knock on the door, you ask who it is. You just don't open the door. And just because you hear a voice, sometimes you need to look at the peek hole. Sometimes you need to ask a certain question before you open that door. You don't just open the door because we're in a nice community. That don't mean anything. People still get killed in nice communities. Sometimes nice communities are more targeted than the bad communities, as people would like to look at it. I never forget, I was living in a place not too far from where I was living at now, connected to the golf course, living nice place, real nice place. They were going to divorce and stuff, and I never forget they had broken 25 cars while I was living there. See, 25 cars. Now I'm thinking I'm on the way on the other side of the town. You know, it's nice, it's good, everything within reach, nice restaurants, everything's good. And you do that because, I did it because we got kids. And I want to put them in the best environment that we can afford. But not knowing, my car got broken into, my wife's car got broken into, and 20 some other cars got broken into. And this is the kicker. My car was parked under the light in front of the complex. And I'm talking about, the front door of the other person, where my car was probably from this podium to that front door. That's just how close it was. So the criminal didn't care. So you think if your car real close or is in front of the door, criminal don't care how close it is. And you would say, man, they're going to be reluctant about bothering that vehicle because it's too close and somebody might come out and do something. But they didn't care because it's the mind of the criminal. And it don't matter where you live. It don't matter where you live. Because if the thief want to come in, I never forget, I was reading a headline about in California where the people was running around, breaking into mansions and stealing jewelry and stealing different things out of people's mansions while they was on vacation. So I'm thinking, your address ain't going to stop a thief. And most crimes are more committed now with technology through a debit card or credit card than somebody coming through your house. Let me tell you, the people I fear the most is the people that make me feel comfortable. Especially when you're doing business, because sometimes it's hard to trust people. Why? Because you think people got your best interest, especially in the area of investments and trying to create multiple streams of income. So you give these people all your information. You give them bank cards and bank statements, and some of us may even have accountants and other people that handle our funds, which is another relationship, and we have to be careful with the relationship. Why? Because you don't know what people's interests and people's motives. A lot of people, if you watch the show American Greed, you'll see a lot of people that have been robbed with there's more people been robbed with an ink pen and paper and tablets and computers than people have been in gunpoint.